The big game is fast approaching, but wait, you still haven't got your tickets. You've spent hours searching, but you're still confused about ticket prices. Time to stop searching. Visit ticketcompare.com. We compare ticket prices for all the popular leagues and tournaments for you. We work only with the most trustworthy sites, so you can have peace of mind when buying your tickets. Compare prices, buy tickets, get to the game. Ticketcompare.com. Buying tickets made simple.
Afternoon. One more time. One more time. There's a song in it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Checking every time.
Yeah, I know.
I'm checking it'll only happen once.
Happens.
Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon.
This afternoon. You've had a couple of days to reflect on Manchester City. How do you look back on that now? And obviously you were in the game for a long period of time, but how do you reflect on the performance now?
Well, the good aspects of the performance was that we did stay in the game, and at 2-1 had a very good chance to equalise, which whether that would have seen it a different finish, it probably wouldn't have seen it a different finish as regards the possession they have and the chances that they would have had. But we might have been able to stick in there. So there's certainly lots of positives against a team that have been so outstanding this season, but still. Probably the goals that we conceded, the third goal I thought was a poor goal to concede, and you continually learn that if you give the ball away in some areas against the best team in the country, that they can hurt you.
Still things to learn, and even with a game to go this season.
Yes, and this has been a real challenge for us, a real test for us. These last two games, arguably with the form of the two teams, the two hardest games that we have this season. So, as always, you need to make sure and stay in these games, but two, very big tests for us.
And barring something remarkable this weekend, it seems like all three of the promoted sides are going to be staying up. I mean, at the start of the season, if we said that to you, would you have been surprised that all three of the promoted sides are going to stay up?
Probably, only because of averages. I think I've got it right. I think this is only the third time since the Premier League started that all three have stayed up. So I suppose on the law of averages, it doesn't happen so often. But I think what we have had this season is a top six that are the top six, that arguably the six biggest teams, the ones that have qualified for the Champions League the most, and probably outside of that the teams that would have normally been pushing for 7th, 8th, 9th position. That's probably changed. So I think what we're seeing this season is a more open competition from the teams outside of the top six, and I think that's probably helped everybody.
What do you think, looking ahead over the summer and looking ahead to the start of the next season, what do you think it will take to take this club on to the next step? What is the next step for this football club?
Mm-hmm. I think the next step is making sure that we stay in the division again. I think that it has to be that way. This is only our first season, in this Premier League, and we are learning still. We're trying to improve as much as we can. We will try in the summer to add to the squad, even though I don't see big additions. But we are still learning, and more importantly is about stability. And I think what you have to do is you have to be stable in a division first before perhaps you can make bigger steps. And so it's very much for us. It's about making sure we are still in that division come the end of next season.
And I guess along that theme, then it's interesting that three of the more established, or the so-called established Premier League sides are going to go down this season, and even if you have managed to establish yourself, there's still that danger there.
Yes, and that's why I spoke about the competition in this division, and I don't think anybody would have had the three teams that are going down, and arguably some of the other teams that have been close to going down. I don't think Manny would have had them, at the start of the season. So it's become a more open, I think, division outside of that top six, and teams, I think, coming up will be perhaps better prepared than in the past. I think the spending capabilities, I think, are a little bit more open now. We invested in the summer and recruited in the summer, and I'd like to think we recruited well, but we also, I think, broke our transfer record, I think, probably on 4 occasions, as did Huddersfield, and of course Newcastle had spent big the season before and also spent in the summer. So I think teams coming up know that they have to be better prepared, and I think probably that's what's made this division so open.
And in terms of the summer, then you mentioned a minute ago there that you're not expecting a big summer. Do you mean big in terms of number of players being recruited, or big in terms of fees flying around?
Both, I think. I think the first one, because I think we have a good squad, and it's always about trying to improve and trying to better what we already have. And the financial one, we are a club that still has to work within financial guidelines for what's suitable and able for this football club. So more importantly is making sure that we hopefully continue to, whoever we bring in, to recruit well.
And we spoke to Pascal Gross just before he came in. He said he's really enjoyed his season here and wants to stay, sees his future here. Is the priority keeping hold of players like him?
Yes, but that's been the priority. I think certainly for the last 2 seasons, and we've had offers for some of our better players over that period of time, and on each of them occasions, our chairman and owner resisted them, and I think that will be the same in the summer. But it is very much about keeping hold of your best players.
And another one of those players is obviously probably Lewis Dunk as well. There's no pressure in terms of financially to bring money in?
No, I'd like to think that the club is in a healthy position at the moment, and what means more to this club at the moment is making sure that we do what we spoke about earlier, and that is enable ourselves to have a decent Premier League season next season, and of course to get that type of stability, and to do that you want to keep hold of your best players, and as I said, we've resisted that in the past. And I'm very sure that we'll work very, very hard to resist that again. Looking at this weekend, I think it's something like £12 million, the difference between where you could finish 10th or 16th. As a coach, is that on your mind, or are you purely, I care about the football, not the financial side? I care very much about going into every game and trying to win every game. The financial side takes care of itself, but I think what you have to do is you have to work hard enough in what your next game is, and if you start thinking money before playing away to Liverpool, then it's not going to work. What you've got to think about is that how can we stop the brilliance that they've got? They're at home, the tempo that they've got, and how can we play ourselves into a game? And they're the only things I think about.
And just on Liverpool as well this weekend, obviously they've got Champions League and those sort of things on the mind. Obviously need a point this weekend. What are you expecting from them, and how will you counter that and that threat of Mo Salah?
I'm expecting a very strong side. I think the Champions League is in a couple of weeks after the end of the season, and you are right, they still need a point to be sure. So I expect the same Liverpool that we've seen all season, the brilliance of what they have and the attacking threat that they have, and it will be a hard day for us, and we will have to defend very well, and we will have to have a real good day to get something.
Just a final one from me. Who would be your manager of the season if you had to choose one of your fellow colleagues?
I know what I would choose, but no, I'm not going to tell you.
Oh, why not?
No, because I've not told anybody else.
Thank you.
Just one question from me, Chris. I know there's still one game to go, but how much have you enjoyed Brighton's first season in the Premier League?
Well, I think as much as you can enjoy it. I think when you're competing at this level and so many good sides and so many difficult games, it's probably quite hard to enjoy it as much as what you should be. I think I have been able to enjoy it to a degree because I think apart from the first couple of weeks, in effect, we've not really been in that bottom three, and we all know, how difficult and stressful it can be once you're there and continue to be there. So I've enjoyed it as much as possible. I've certainly enjoyed the last week the most because this is where we wanted to be, and to have achieved it in the manner that we did, of course, against Manchester United is incredibly pleasing.
Chris, some of the players have said they're reaching the opportunity. In fact, Liverpool have still got to get something out of the game. They want to play games that mean something. But does that mean that this is a more daunting task because the pressure's on Liverpool to perform?
I think daunting task. I think that applies to. There is a difference between home and away, and the away games at the likes of where we were on Wednesday, and of course where we're going on Sunday. Yes, they're quite daunting because you know what can happen if you get it wrong. But more so, they're exciting and challenging because, as I said, we know that we will have to play at a really good level to get something from the game. And of course, what we will have is we'll have a group of players that the large majority of them wouldn't have played, at Liverpool. Not the magnitude of this game because they need to get something from it, but wouldn't have played there. So these are the games that we look forward to, and these are the games very much that a group of players look forward to.
Not looking at Mo Salah, but what about this strike force? Where does it compare in terms of the Premier League? We've seen some amazing front twos, front threes across the last 20 years or so. Where do you think
this is right up there, and probably, in recent seasons, then there's been, a little bit more of a trend of a 4-3-3. I suppose when we spoke about attacking combinations in the past, generally we spoke about a front two. So so to be talking about a front three is certainly different. And of course, a lot of teams in recent years have played that way, but these are right up there. And how do you gauge a striker? Well, one is what they give the team, but mostly it's about the goals that they give the team. And when you look at the amount of goals that these three have scored and contributed in this season, it's outstanding. And that puts them up, probably with the best.
Premier League comes to a close this weekend, but you've got players like Matty Ryan going to the World Cup and Jose Izquierdo, who could be involved for Colombia. How much of an opportunity is this for them?
A great opportunity and great for the club as well, must I say. I mean, any involvement in international football is always something that I think it's certainly an honour for the players, but it's also an honour for the club, and speaks well of what we do here and at any club. But of course, to go to a World Cup is the likes of Matty and Jose and anybody involved here. I think perhaps if you are an England international, Spanish international, and Italian, generally you're going to be at most World Cups. But all due respects to Australia, they might miss out on the next one. Same with Colombia, and so for these two to have this opportunity, it's I think probably the best experience that they could go through.
Sure, your break's already planned, but will you be watching much of the World Cup over the summer?
I will do. I mean, what I won't do is I won't go to any games, and any games that I miss out on the television, then I'm not going to lose too much sleep over. But as much as I can, yes, I think you're involved in football. I think you have to. I think perhaps in many sort of World Cups ago, managers would be and coaches and scouts would be looking at players, seeing how they've done in the World Cup, and a recruitment process would have started. But I think the way that the recruitment is done now, I don't think there'll be too many performances in a World Cup that will make clubs make decisions on players. Most of them decisions are all, and that knowledge is already known.